Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I share stories about grief, healing, and finding light again after loss. Today, I want to talk about something that grief unexpectedly taught me: compassion. When I lost someone I loved deeply, I thought my heart had broken beyond repair. The pain was so immense, so all-consuming, that I couldn't imagine a future where that void would ever be filled. But with time, I realized that grief wasn't just taking from me, it was also shaping me. It was slowly, painfully turning me into someone softer, more understanding, and more open to the pain of others. It was a transformation I never asked for, but one that ultimately redefined who I am. When my world fell apart, I remember feeling so incredibly alone. It felt like no one could possibly understand the depth of the emptiness I was drowning in. The world just kept moving. People went to work, they laughed with their friends, they planned their weekends. And there I was, just trying to remember how to breathe through the crushing weight of it all. It felt like I was living behind a pane of glass, watching life happen without being a part of it. The simplest tasks felt monumental, and the future felt like a terrifying blank slate. I'd see people smiling and wonder, how can they be happy when my world has ended? It was a profound and isolating experience. And then something started to shift. I began to notice things I hadn't before. I saw the quiet, almost imperceptible sadness in someone's eyes when they said, "I'm fine." I noticed the slight hesitation in a stranger's smile, as if it took all their energy to put it on. I started to see the invisible battles that people carry with them every single day, battles we never get to see. Grief, in its own strange way, gave me a new kind of vision. It was like a filter was removed, and suddenly I could see the subtle cracks in the facades people put up. I realized that the world wasn't divided into the grieving and the happy. It was full of people quietly navigating their own pain. This new awareness changed everything. Before my loss, I might have judged someone for being distant or withdrawn at a social gathering. I might have thought they were rude or antisocial, but after experiencing my own grief, I began to understand. I realized that sometimes that silence, that withdrawal, is simply someone's way of surviving the day. It's not about pushing others away. It's about holding themselves together when they feel like they're falling apart. Grief opened my eyes to the reality that we so often walk past people who are hurting, just like I was, and we never even know it. We're all carrying something, and that understanding became the foundation of a new kind of empathy in my life. I used to think that being compassionate meant having all the right answers. I thought it meant giving advice, offering solutions, or trying to fix people's problems. But my own journey through grief taught me something profoundly different. It taught me that real, true compassion isn't about fixing, it's about presence. It's about simply being there. It's sitting next to someone in their pain and having the courage to say, "You don't have to say anything. I'm just here with you." It's sending a text that just says, thinking of you with no expectation of a reply. It's showing patience with someone's unpredictable moods, knowing their heart might just be tired from carrying so much. Through my own pain, I came to realize that people don't need our solutions. They need our understanding. Because when I was at my lowest, what helped me the most wasn't the people who had perfect, eloquent words. It wasn't the ones who told me what to do or how to feel. It was the gentle, quiet people who simply stayed. The ones who didn't rush my healing or try to erase my pain with platitudes. They were the ones who sat with me in my darkness, not with a flashlight trying to show me the way out, but with a quiet willingness to just be in the dark with me for a while. That presence was more healing than any advice I ever received. Grief changes your perspective on everything, completely and irrevocably. Now, when I see someone struggling, my first thought isn't, "What's wrong with them?" Instead, it's, "I wonder what they might be going through." I've learnt to look for the story behind the behavior. I notice the small things now, the exhausted cashier forcing a smile for the 10th time that hour. The friend who cancels plans at the last minute but doesn't explain why the person I see walking alone with red, puffy eyes. These are no longer just random observations. They are invitations to extend grace, to offer a silent prayer, to hold a little space for them in my heart. And I want to be clear, this isn't pity, it's empathy. It's the profound recognition that pain is a universal human experience, that everyone has a story. And most of those stories contain chapters of loss, struggle, and heartache. And strangely, this awareness brings an unexpected sense of connection. Even in the depths of my own loss, I started to find little pieces of love everywhere, in the kindness exchanged between strangers, in shared tears with someone who understood, in the silent, unspoken understanding that passes between two people who have known grief. It's a connection born from shared humanity, a reminder that none of us are truly alone in our suffering. One of the hardest and most important lessons grief taught me was that compassion isn't just for other people, it's for yourself, too. For a long, long time, I was so angry at myself. I was angry for not moving on fast enough, for still crying after months, for struggling to feel okay again. I felt like I was failing at grieving. But learning compassion for others slowly taught me how to offer it to myself. It reminded me that healing is not a linear path with a finish line. It's messy. It's okay to rest. It's okay to fall apart. And it's absolutely okay to still miss them, even after years have passed. When I finally started treating myself with the same gentleness I was beginning to offer others, something powerful shifted inside me. The pressure I'd been putting on myself began to lift. I started to heal not by forgetting my loss or pushing it away, but by embracing my pain as a part of my humanity. I learned to make space for my grief, to let it be a part of my story without letting it be the entire story. It was in that moment of self-compassion that I truly began to find my footing again. Not on the old ground I had lost, but on new, stronger ground that my grief had helped create. Grief broke me wide open, but in doing so, it also expanded my heart in ways I never could have imagined. It gave me the ability to see others not just for who they appear to be, but through a lens of deep, unwavering kindness. It taught me that behind every smile, there is a story, and behind every story, there is a person just doing their absolute best to keep going, one day at a time. It's a perspective that has enriched my life and deepened my connections with everyone around me. So if you're grieving right now and you feel broken and lost, please hear this. One day, this unbearable pain will transform. It will soften and change, and it will become a source of profound empathy that can light up the darkness for others. You will become the kind of person you once needed, someone who is patient, who is understanding, and who is full of a beautiful, resilient love. Your heart is not just breaking, it's breaking open. Thank you so much for watching and for holding space for this story. If this message spoke to your heart in any way, please consider liking this video, sharing it with someone who might need to hear it, or leaving a comment below. I read every single one. And remember, grief may change you, but sometimes it changes you into someone softer, wiser, and more beautifully human. Take care of yourselves.